ready for another lesson?
Oh yeah, folks. Are you feeling it? No? Okay. Let me take the music down then. Welcome back to Back Row Banter. It's everyone's favorite casual movie talk podcast. I am one of your hosts. I'm Nathaniel. And joining me tonight via satellite, our normal host, Adam Schwartz.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I am in the middle of nowhere, connecting to a satellite. Not actually, though. I am in the car.
You couldn't hear that. That was the car. He sounds a bit robotic. It's a satellite from far away. We might lose him in a little bit, but you know, things happen. Yeah, that was in and out. That's,
it's gonna happen. I'm approaching Springfield, so hopefully they have a tower I can connect to here in a second.
Yeah, where the Simpsons are.
But yeah, that might happen throughout the episode. So just bear with me personally. What'd you say?
I asked if the Springfield's where the Simpsons are.
Is it?
I think so.
That's I didn't know this. I didn't know Simpsons took place in Illinois.
No, it takes place in Springfield, which I think the joke is that like every state in like the United States has a Springfield, so it's supposed to be like it could take place anywhere kind of thing.
Okay. So then, where do we think the Simpsons takes place, though? Do we think it's an East Coast? Like that was my original thought process.
I think in the like Simpsons movie or whatever, he's like, we border Louisiana, Maine, and Kentucky, which are just completely.
That's actually really funny.
I think Flanders says that or something. So yeah, it's nowhere.
That's actually really funny. Yeah.
But that's where Adam is currently as well too. So yeah, hopefully he'll get a good satellite overhead. Brother Elon, please get us a good satellite. Hook up Adam Schwartz.
You're in and out for me, but I am still here.
Okay, great. Moving on.
We got
also joining us is Tyler Vidalis.
Wait, hello?
What's going on?
Is there a way to mute him? No. Hi, Ty. How are you? We're not doing nicknames this week because
I'm good, man.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, because we're just feeling a little loose. VHS
casual.
is obviously a little bit of an older movie, so we don't even really have to go into the whole spoilers thing. When we get there, we can just decide to go off the rails early here after we're done doing intros if we want. But I'm good. Life is good, and things are just moving right along.
It's an anthology.
Love to hear it.
So each part of the episode will be a different part of the episode.
True.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, glad to hear you're doing well, man. We got to hang out. We got to watch this
We
together.
did. Yeah, we did. It was a surprise get together. Usually, I don't typically have the thought of you being off on a Friday,
It's true.
and I snapped you because I saw a student driver sticker on a car, and it was an older person.
Telling you every time, man.
When I was driving by, so I figured I'd start your afternoon off with that, and then you responded to me, and I saw you were at home, and I was like, "The fuck, you're at home?" I was like, "Come over." so yeah, timing worked out pretty well.
Did it did.
And
Which
a good movie to watch with someone else,
Oh, great hang movie.
for sure.
Which brings us to Big Cat Blake.
Hey, what up? What up?
I thought you were gonna be like one of the guys that I know who's known best for hanging out, BlakeHolder. Just talk up his hangout
What a
ability
segue.
skills.
Number one hang. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I needed to get a ranking system of number one hangs of my friends. BlakeHolder, folks.
S tier, dude.
S tier. What's going on, fellas?
Oh,
What's up,
chilling.
dude?
Adam's definitely,
I'm here. I'm here. I see a cell tower. Can you guys hear me?
We
Yep.
can, yeah. What do we got you?
Awesome.
Is this Back Row Mobile? Back Row Storm Chasers?
Yeah, no,
Storm
Back Row
chasing.
on the go
Storm
is
chasers?
actually,
Yeah.
is
Back
actually
Row
what
on
I'm
the
calling
go is not bad.
Yeah, Back Row on the go. This is a weird experience so far because it feels like I'm driving, 6-hour car ride. I listen to podcasts, and it feels like I'm listening to one. But then, like when I want to, I can interact with it,
Yeah,
and it's an odd experience.
You're breaking the fourth
You know?
wall of podcasting.
I am
literally.
exactly, and it's so much fun because when you're listening to a podcast, sometimes you wish you could go in and chime into the conversation, and now I can this time I can because I won't be as flued in because I will never know what my cell service will be like, so I won't be chiming in maybe quite as much as I usually would. So I'll just be listening, and then when I want to interject, I'll have that ability to. So it should be a good time. I'm going to enjoy this experience, I think.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Back Row Banter, revolutionizing the podcast industry once again.
This has never been done. Absolutely not.
Although it could realistically turn into a thing. We just invite one person into our Discord, and then you just get to.
But do they always?
You don't really get. You don't get an introduction or anything like that. You just kind of chime in when you want.
Just have one fan cam always going, basically. But is the catch?
Alternatively, that's our new shtick: is that one of the three or one of the four of us has to be in the car while we record.
Always driving.
Yeah.
Just get a streaming setup in your car.
Yeah. Casual movie talk with a side of storms chasing. Our man on the street. If you
I'm
feel it.
westbound heading down I-90. Winds are high.
Yeah,
okay, but what do you think about the movie? Jesus Christ.
And now to the traffic with Tyler. Yeah, I'm stuck in traffic again. All right, well, that'll do for introductions, folks. This week on Back Row Banter, we're talking, as Tyler said, about VHS. What year is the first one of these? Is this 2012, 2013, somewhere in there?
This, I believe, is 2012.
2012.
2012
the year
it is.
The world ended and VHS came out.
Yeah.
As for directors, well, yeah, normally on the Back Row Banter here, what we do is, we introduce the movie itself. We go around the squadron. We'll talk about it, introduce it. As I said, go over who wrote it, directed it, stars in it. Kind of a tough one for this one, as it is a anthology movie with different segments directed by different directors or groups of directors even. So let me pull it up on the IMDb here. Great podcasting. Tyler, Phil.
we're filling. We're doing fill. Yeah, honestly, when you guys were talking about baseball earlier, just not my thing.
How many different variations of the word Phil can we think of immediately, right? There's the name Phil.
Name. Yep.
You can feel something technically different, but did we count it?
Mm.
Thank you. That's been enough of that. So yeah, we got Matt Bettinelli Olpin and Tyler Gillette, who are collectively known as Radio Silence. They did the segment 103198, which I believe is
the last one.
Last one. Okay.
Yep.
Yes. Also,
the
Justin
Haunted House one.
Justin Martinez. He's also a part of that that segment. David Bruckner did Amateur Night. Who we know him. Where did we know him from?
David Bruckner's done
The Ritual.
Handful of things. So yeah, David Bruckner's done The Ritual. Anyone who's seen The Night House.
Yep.
He did Siren, which is, I believe, could be fun fact. I haven't seen the last VHS, but the only VHS short that got its own feature-length film.
Oh, okay.
And I want to say did he do the new Hellraiser? I think that's Bruckner as well. The one from like 2022 or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Then we have Chad Villalela, who's also in there as Radio Silence. And then we have Ty West. He did the
got our boy.
Ty West, our second honeymoon segment. Adam Wingard, who directed the Tape 56, which is the overall skeleton of the other story going around it as well too. And then Joe Swanberg and Glenn McQuaid. So that will be the collection of the directors on this one. As for the cast, quite a big cast. No one I feel like that anyone would kind of like call out other than maybe Joe Swanberg, who appears in here as both a director and actor. Shout out Hannah Fearman as Lily in the first segment, I want to say. And there's a couple others in there as well too. But came out in 2012. I remember first seeing this, we should do the IMDb summary. It goes as follows. When a group of misfits are hired by an unknown third party to burglarize a desolate house and acquire a rare VHS tape, they discover more found footage than they are bargained for. Almost lost it a bit at the end there, folks. But as a summary, Adam, you're the best at rating those. What do you think?
It's pretty solid overall. I don't, if I had to give an out of 10 rating, probably like a 7 out of 10, 7.5. It doesn't like intrigue me, or like some of these summaries we read. We had one like last week or the week before. I forgot what movie it was for. That was like, oh wow, like gives you a good summary of what the movie is, kind of gets you excited to watch it, kind of like gets you asking questions or like, just has some excitement about it. This one kind of just gives you the standard rundown of what's going on, but not a lot there where I'm like, I got to sit down and watch this movie,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So well, to set the groundwork, let's say I remember this movie coming out. Blake, I'm going to assume you did as well too. I heard about it first, I think, around festival time. But then I'd heard people talk about it, say it was scary, say it was one of like the better found footage movies since it would have been Paranormal Activity at that time.
Yeah.
And the idea of, I remember being intrigued by the idea of the anthology style, as well as making sure that it was the whole concept of the VHS and the found footage idea and the fact that you're going to be watching these different tapes. I would assume it maybe had an influence on me on the Sandpiper tapes even. But yeah, do you remember the first time you heard about it and kind of like what you were coming across with?
Yeah. So this is 2012. That goes to my senior year of high school. So I remember when this came out, always being big in the horror community. And And ultimately, I didn't get to it to the next year. So I remember the first time I saw this was actually in my dorm room.
Mine too.
Freshman year of college. Yeah. So yeah, it was one I was like always aware of. However, as you guys know, I'm not the biggest found footage guy. So it wasn't necessarily immediately on like my watch list when it was coming out, right? I was like, someone's gonna have to kind of tell me this is good, or I'm gonna have to read about it. And then word kind of got around on the internet pretty quickly, as it usually does. And I was like, you know what, I'll bunker down. Then I gave it a shot the following year, and was pleasantly surprised. It was new. It was the first time I've seen something like that, right? That had basically the anthology and the wraparounds. I mean, you go to like your ABCs of death, and then your Trick or Treat. But however, I didn't see Trick or Treat until we did this podcast, right? So this was a new concept for me at the time, and you don't know any of the directors in hindsight, right? So that listing we kind of went down. Fast forward 12 years, right?
And that's
now a phenomenal listing of directors.
That's a hardcore horror fans like. Those are the 2010 guys, like, in a lot of ways.
Now, quick question, because I'm not clued into horror as much as you guys are. Was this a breakout film for most of those directors, or were any of them well known going into this movie?
It would have been Ty West, Joe Swanberg, and Radio Silence.
Radio Silence, I would say absolutely. This is their breakout for their short. They did the Halloween one. Ty West, what year do we think House of the Devil is?
No, that's what I'm saying. People would have known about Ty West before.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. I'm with you.
And Joe Swanberg. People would have known about him. I would say it's probably the breakout for Adam Wingard and definitely for David Bruckner.
Yes.
But the other guy, I haven't seen much of what else he's done. But I feel like people might have known, like, these guys were working in short films and that kind of thing at this time, but this was definitely a loud announcement for a lot of these guys, and to the talent that they had and what they were going to be doing and that kind of thing. So
yeah, and that's their big segue into this community, where effectively all VHS films do something like this. And you ultimately start to know, like, oh, like I've heard of this director. I like some of her work, or I've heard of this director. I like some of his work. So that's really what kind of gets people interested. So that's the takeaway.
Yeah,
obviously, the first one, I don't know if they struck gold with that, and then I think they realized, like, oh, that was the cool part. So now you get some of the upcoming horror guys.
They serve almost like as an audition or like a XXL freshman year kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. Here's some up and coming names. We gave them the option to do a VHS segment, and some of them are good, some of them are bad, and I think in the most recent one, like Mike Flanagan's wife, Kate Siegel, she's got a directing credit on one of those, which is pretty awesome.
And Justin Long's got directing credit too.
Benson and Moorhead, two of my favorite, one of my favorite duo directors. They got a segment, I think, on, like, it's one of the only good segments on Viral, I want to say. So yeah, there's a lot of really good directors that have featured on the VHS series at this point. I forget I'm running this show at this point. So I mean,
that's it.
Blake and I are big recommends, I feel like.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want to hear. I guess Ty, was this the first time you've seen this, or I feel like Ty's made a walked into this somehow, some way before.
Yeah, I've seen this for sure.
Okay.
It's been a while.
Oh,
I would say
you described it as a quintessential.
It's been a while. How does that feel, Ty? How does that feel?
It feels great.
I think
like being on the other end of that.
I do. Yeah, it's great. I encourage it.
I mean, you didn't hit the notes at all, but you know.
Yeah, they were.
I didn't.
You need
that's all right.
You know, after the episode, you cue up Stained. Number one song is going to be "It's Been a While," and then you can just listen to that for the next 2 hours while you finish that out.
Nathaniel.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
I'll put it on loop. I'll come back next week, and you guys won't even recognize me.
Pitch
I'm
perfect.
gonna be all over it.
Yeah,
it's good.
You could tell me if they have another song. 'Cause I'm not sure.
They do have other songs. No, man, overall I would say this is something that I have always liked. I found footage was still something pretty new to me when this kind of came around, but overall, this kind of was also like the quintessential Big Brother movie. You run into this because your big brother or your cousin or somebody that's kind of taken you under their cinematic wing of knowledge and has shown you this one at some point. But yeah, this is definitely a hand-me-down movie for sure for most people, I would say. Given that though, I love all the stories. I think they're all really cool how it's implemented too. With the actual VHS, no pun intended.
Whoa.
And it's always cool that you're getting a story while you're also watching the other stories happen. But yeah, man, I'm a recommend for sure. Not scary in my opinion, even back in 2012. But we'll get to it, and maybe Adam will shine a little more light as to where he's at. But I was to the point where I hadn't seen this movie sometimes, and we'll keep it still pre-spoilers, but just maybe a little bit more gore than I remember. There was a couple of times where Nathaniel and I were just kind of hanging out watching the movie, and I was like, "Oh, good luck, Adam." So,
yeah, there's definitely an Adam meter in my head now whenever I'm watching a scary movie or something. Terrifier series, not for Adam, not in the slightest, not in any way.
Yeah, I'll pass. I've seen, I think, 1 or 2 clips from that series, and I can already tell you I don't need to watch more. But Ty, if you're wrapped up with your thoughts over there, I'll give some
I'm a recommend for sure. But yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts and see where your gory meter was at.
Yeah, well, this is my first time watching. So I don't have any prior experience with it, or background with it. Did watch it with Papa Schwartz.
Oh my gosh. Papa Schwartz, no.
Which he had, I think he said he may have seen it before, or
really
he thought he'd seen it. I can't remember exactly what he said. But I thought he said that he'd seen it before. But either way, the Gorometer, after watching Substance, I feel like I've built up my tolerance pretty high because
really?
The Substance was like it was up there for me. And then like this time around, obviously it's a lower budget movie, so there was gore there, but it wasn't the effects that I'm used to in terms of quality. So like it was enough for me to get past it. Wasn't too much of a bother for me on this watch, to be honest.
How was the shaky cam for you? We did wonder that.
Which one are you talking about? Just the handout style in general, or this?
Yeah,
just
like
in general.
I was just like, I wonder if Adam is like too of the age of where like GoPros had already become a thing, so you didn't get as much shaky cam blur.
That's a good observation.
Or like phone kind of things nowadays.
Yeah, I know what you mean. No, it brought me back a little bit because you're right, where like I didn't spend enough time with that period of video technology where like that's kind of like what my standard was for a long time. Like that's how it was growing up for me, and I know remember that.
That's fair.
But like this movie really brought me back to that, where I was like, oh yeah, like dude, phone cameras and just like cameras in general used to be pretty rough. Yeah, pretty bad. And so like, yeah, it wasn't like oh wow, this is new for me or anything, but it definitely brought me back to that time. Even this movie came out in 2012, and like things were definitely worse back then in terms of cameras, especially in like phones and stuff like that. But like this is also, some of this is emulating 90es cameras. Obviously these are filmed on VHS, so like it's emulating even like older cameras, which I still have that kind of I still have experience with that kind of video and stuff. But honestly, it was fun watching that. It kind of brought me back a little bit to like, damn, like the old VHS like tape recorder style, that low res kind of choppy, grainy footage. Like I don't know, there's something to it. Just the authenticity of it. Where like if you wanted to film a movie or just film anything, just like some of the what comes to mind is that the I don't know which tape it would necessarily be, but it's the one of the couple in the motel. I'll leave it
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Second honeymoon.
That one yes, sure. That one is like people don't make. I don't feel like people make
Yeah.
like
Those-
little home films like that anymore of like road trips or whatever it is
Yeah.
because
You have
everybody's
Snapchat.
filming everything all the time.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
now
You
it's
have
like nothing special on to capture on film anymore.
You have your
Yeah.
story for that. Like,
Right, exactly. Yeah, you pull your phone out, everybody sees it instantly, and you put it away. Like you don't, like I remember when I was younger. I don't know if I ever like did anything with these footage, but like I had a little camcorder that I got for a birthday one year, and like would have fun like bringing it on a road trip, and like never really actually putting it together, but like still like having fun
Yeah.
like recording different moments of the road trip, and like that was just like an experience that I forgot I even had personally, and like forgot that was a thing that people would do to like document a trip like that or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely has its place for like just kind of some nostalgia there, just all around for me. Which is funny because like that wasn't even like a core time for me, but growing up that was. So, but yeah, besides that part, just in general on the movie, I enjoyed it overall. I would say this is definitely not one where I'm like, like I gotta go show this to other people, like what a classic or anything like,
Sure.
or like this little anthology of the film is like really stands out to me. But definitely had like a good time overall, and like it was another one of those movies where like I didn't realize how much it was affecting me until it was over. And like once that final and the haunted I don't think it's a 12-year-old movie, so I'll say the haunted house thing. I'm not really spoiling what the anthologies are about by saying
the
that.
last short.
Yep.
Yeah, the last short too. That was probably my favorite, and like just
Interesting.
but just in general throughout the movie, just like the tension that you kind of get from some of the anthologies more than others. But yeah, it's like it's effective at that. So I would say it achieves the actual like goal of horror movie or the horror genre. But it's not it's not one I think I'll go back to often or anything like that. But I had a good time, and I would recommend it if you're thinking about watching it. And it is close to 2 hours. We've always talked about 90 minutes, especially for a movie of this type. I could have gone with like maybe one or two less anthologies. But either way, like it's still a good time. And I would definitely recommend it.
It's break-upable as well too in some ways.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm with Adam on that one. Where like I forgot how long this was till I went to rewatch it the other day. Then I was like, oh my god, this is like almost 2 hours long, right? We're like in my head, I had this was like an 80-minute film.
Yeah,
you
know
what
it
I mean?
should be.
Yeah,
really
I
should
agree.
be.
I agree.
Yeah, like not no offense to any of those directors, like, and it's not like any of them are in control of how long the overall runtime is. It's not like any one person. I mean, I'm sure there was a producer that's kind of running through that, but like the directors themselves, are just kind of doing their own thing with their shorts. But it definitely kind of needs one or two less of those little short stories to kind of get to a tighter runtime, and I think it would have done the movie justice a little bit more.
So then, overall, Adam, would you end up being a recommend then?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, especially if it's like this time of year, you're looking for something campy or fun to watch, with a group of friends or whatever it is. Like, it's definitely one to put on for that. And yeah, definitely, I would say it's a good movie overall. I would recommend it, but it's not going to be like one where I'm like, whoa, like can't believe I've never seen this before, and now I need to watch the rest of the VHS series. Like, no, I think it's cool. Fun concept. I like the storytelling in it. Just kind of the one through line versus it's kind of weaving in other stories is cool. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed my time with it. It would be a recommend.
All right, folks. Well, there you hear it, or there you have it, and you hear it. You've heard it. 4 recommends. That's a fun one all around the squadron. So tune in to the rest of the podcast if you want to have it spoiled for you, or if you've seen VHS. If you haven't, check back in after we've ranked, or excuse me, after the next few minutes here, which we're going to mark in our show notes. And then we're going to rank it up on our entropy list, which is our big list of everything we've watched on the podcast ranked. With that being said, it's going to be spoiler time here in just a moment. So hold on to your butts. With that being said, spoilers. So shit goes down. And let me say right off the bat, I think we were, what did Tyler and I count? 5 for 6 on just like deciding that like, oh, we've picked up the video camera. The first thing we do is need to point it at our girlfriend's chest.
Yeah,
Sure.
it was like-
100%.
It was like by the
Was that movie-
second one in, it was just like, boom.
Yeah.
Which was a bit I totally forgot
It
last
made it
week.
feel like so much more like kind of like 90s kind of vibe.
That's
100%.
exactly what I was gonna say. Is that
Yeah,
it
didn't-
weirdly brought me out of time back to 2012, but also like the time period in 2012 where they were like, okay, this is what it would be if it was late 90s, early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
what we were thinking back then to another 10 years back as well too.
100%.
And like it's just it was very jarring in a lot of ways overall. To the point where like I was like, shit, I think I might have oversold this to Adam when I like last week when we were talking about it. I was like, I remember telling him how I was scared in the first 2 segments. He's gonna think I'm just a weird perv or something.
No, I'm not gonna blame you for that. But I mean, I think it's not that it adds to the movie, like all this kind of weird kind of male gaze, female stuff, but like it's interesting to me, like looking at that and kind of as you said, Nathaniel, it's like looking at it as like a time capsule kind of thing, where it's like 10 years ago, this is how we looked back on the late 90s, early 2000s, and like just kind of using this movie as like a kind of time capsule of like what people like thought about that time and like how they wanted to portray that in the movie compared to like if this movie was made now, even though it's about the 90s, I don't think it would have the same content or be, portrayed the same way, if that makes sense.
No way.
Mhm.
Or like it
So
would
I
be,
think it's interesting for that sense.
it'd be tastefully edited or something like that, right? You know,
Sure,
there you'd be able to excuse you'd use the VHS or the handheld aspect of it to blur the lines and that kind of thing, and
Right.
right. Move all that together. But yeah, I mean, let's talk too. Like, what's your guys' rankings for segments? Let's get that out of the way right out the gate here, out of spoilers.
Yeah. Adam. So Adam actually caught me when he mentioned. Well, I think he said the last one was his favorite, which like isn't necessarily a hot take. I think the consensus would be either what is it, Halloween 1998? I think is what the short was called, or
That's the first one with the vampire.
no, that's the last one with the haunted house by Radio Silence.
Okay.
I think the consensus is that or the first one, Amateur Night, are probably the best shorts of the first VHS. Right.
Yeah.
Nathaniel, would you agree with that? That's kind of the consensus of the past 12 years.
I think it's that. The only one you can argue would be number 2. Number 2 has that unsettling feeling kind of thing where you can say it, but it's always like it's the one that will never be number 1. It's always number 2. Like and
sure,
that's your thing. But like, yeah, I remember number 1, Amateur Night, and like also special shout out to the overarching outline VHS thing, tape 56 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Tyler and I were talking about that too, of just like immediately putting you on the side of like, I don't care what happens to all these people. I want them to be murdered and like dismembered. And like bad things should happen to these people. Yeah, and just like that overall. But yeah, for me it was always Amateur Night is number 1 for the sole reason that I think the last one just shows its budget a little bit with the effects. In some of those arms and stuff. Like just I don't buy it as much as the first one. So
Maybe it's because it's on a VHS tape, but I was pretty forgiving.
No, that's totally
I was
fair.
pretty,
Yeah.
it wasn't. Honestly, it bothers me less than I thought it would. Like looking back on it, like
Okay.
it wasn't really something I was like, oh, that CGI is
Oh,
rough. Like it really didn't
again,
affect me as much.
it's 1A and 1B for me. Like,
Yeah.
they're both great.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I think for me, like that encapsulation of just that fucking mid-thousand or early thousands, mid-thousands douche in
the first one.
In the first one is just so good. And then just the overall like rhythm of it and the beat and just like love it. Love everything about it.
I was hooked. The first time I saw this, and after the first short, I was like, oh, I'm in.
Tyler and I did say without question, worst one, Glitch Man, which
For
is
sure.
unfortunate.
Oh yeah.
I agree. Like it's just forgettable. Like it's a good concept, but it just like doesn't look great, and like it's a lull.
It doesn't work. Yeah.
Poor execution.
Yeah.
So for those who haven't seen, or those who have, just kind of talk through the film, right? So the first short is a group of guys who go out to a bar, and he gives his buddy like recording glasses, I guess, for lack of a better term, where he puts these glasses on, he can record anything he's seen. So they go out to a bar. It's a group of probably 4 dudes, I want to say, 4 or 5 dudes, and they go out to a bar to hit on some girls, and they've taken a girl home who's like kind of weird, borderline drunk. They don't really know what's wrong with her. So these guys are already douches in the first place for that. And it turns out the girl they took home is actually a succubus. So it's just a crazy concept. She's got like a scar on her forehead the whole time. She has really strange mannerisms. But yeah, that's a good one, man. That's probably a top 5 or 6 VHS short of the entire series. So
For sure.
what was your thoughts on that, Adam, going in blind? Like, how were you hooked after the first short, or were you
I thought it was
not sold?
No, I thought that was a fun one. You're right. That one's a good one to start off with because it kind of sets the tone of like, hey, we're kind of taking, a look back at like 90s, early 2000s, and like you said, kind of the douchebag kind of archetype, and it's like that's. And after seeing like the core VHS through lines and like seeing those people too, it's like you kind of get the vibe of like what the rest of the movie is going to be about.
Yeah.
And I think that first one's like a fun enough short to like get your attention right off the bat, and definitely was kind of like along for the ride after that one.
Yeah, for sure. And that one, that's the David Bruckner one, which I don't know what you would know David Bruckner from, because like you haven't seen 2022 Hellraiser. Is there anything David Bruckner's got on the pod here? Let me think of this. Have you seen The Ritual, Adam? No.
No, I've heard of it. But I've not
have you seen The Night House with Rebecca Hall?
No.
Okay. Those are probably The Ritual, The Night House, and then Hellraiser, which is obviously like an OG horror movie, and he made the remake. That's what most people know him from, but yeah, he definitely got his feet wet with that.
Which one's who's Empty Man?
I've heard the name.
I don't know. Nathaniel. Great question.
Because I feel like that's.
And then the second one, you jump into the honeymoon one, which is Ty West, who obviously we know Ty West. We've got his trilogy on here. And that's one I'm kind of up in the air on that one. I like the concept. I wish they would have had like one more night as the couple to build on the tension again. You know what I mean? Because it goes from
you're
toothbrush.
You're right.
To I forgot what the second night is.
He kills her.
I think it's just like knock at the door, then toothbrush, then he kills her. Right? Then it was like, oh, that's kind of
she kills
quick,
him,
man. Pardon me. Yes, she kills him. So yeah, I wish they would have had another night on there to add to suspense on that one. But overall, still a pretty good short. Then obviously you get the foreshadowing when they go to the cowboy fortune teller, future teller guy, right?
Yeah.
So
that I guess maybe too, that segment always holds a place in my heart because it's just so clearly Arizona, Like that is just what
Okay,
Arizona
sure.
looks like, and
Yeah,
yeah, I do like that segment. That's also Joe Swanberg as well too, who directs, I think, the next segment, or yeah, the fucked up thing that happened to like Emily when she was younger or whatever.
Yeah, the alien one.
Yeah.
Which I know we're kind of bouncing around. Like, how does everyone feel about that one? That's the one that I'm always kind of like, I don't know.
Why'd you close your door? Tyler and I had a real good laugh at that
We did
one
have a good time.
because it was really at that point where we were like, all right, the whole boobs thing is just like out of fucking control right
Oh yeah,
now.
that's the one where she just like
Yeah.
she
It's
just
the
puts her boobs
first
on camera
thing-
just because.
Yeah, and then it's also the end of it is like that's how we know that like we're looping on to the next one is like when we gotta end it on boobs.
Because
Like-
he's like, you're not, it's you could if you want,
yeah.
dude. But like it's so funny because like by the time you're done with the end of that one, you realize why there's just like this undertone of like why he doesn't really care or why there really is no like sense of urgency for him, but like the
Yeah.
way where he's just like when he's like, get out of there, close your door.
Yeah.
And it's just like okay, so he clearly doesn't give a shit what, like that any of this stuff is happening to her.
Nah,
It's fucking unreal.
I will say I think the actress in that one is really good as well too, and I think
For sure.
that's one of the strengths of this movie is they did cast actors that I'm unfamiliar with, but also look like regular people as well too, or more like regular people than your typical Hollywood actor and actresses too.
Yeah.
So I feel like it was all very believable in that side of things of like this would be normal people filming things or that kind of thing.
I think just the level of like fame in general has gone up too. Like the bar has been risen. Like, no longer is it just like a few superstars that are in like the zeitgeist. It's like everybody
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
be famous at the blink of an eye, and there's like
for-
a difference between like being famous and like mega fucking famous. And so yeah,
You're right. You're right. So yeah, I think we were talking about rankings. Definitely the Glitch Man number 5.
Really, really quick on that Skype one. I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
That had to me the best jump scare of the movie, or
That's-
best scare in general.
That's what I was gonna say. It is a creepy like thing, I feel like on
For
first
sure.
watch.
Yeah. It's not bad in terms of like the actual like the moments that it's trying to be scary. Like it's pretty effective, and I had an audible what the fuck moment when the kid runs and closes the door, because
Sure.
I don't know what I'd have to rewatch it to see how it goes down exactly, but I was like, all right, well, I see the doors open, and then I'm staring at this kid, and I'm like, but is that a kid? Like, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? And then it just comes out real quick at you.
It runs from the
and
opposite
yeah,
side too of where you think it's gonna be as well.
Right. Yeah. I forgot what it does that's so weird to me about it, but it was just like, it freaked me the F out.
it makes me want to
yeah.
watch Paranormal Activity.
Which
Yes.
It's on the short list.
I agree with Ty. That's the fourth short.
it is.
That reminds me of like, man, this is like peak Paranormal Activity, like 2000.
Dude, so good.
You know what I mean?
But like, is that the first? Was that the first time? Or here we go. Was that the first time you guys saw a Skype like style found footage one? Because I can't remember if there's anything before that. I know Unfriended came out after VHS. I want to say because I think that's like
Okay, I was gonna say
2014.
that's the one that I would
Unfriended's pretty
immediately
recent,
go
isn't it?
to.
No, Unfriended is
Like it was in oh no.
maybe not. There was two that right? There was what's the one?
Or maybe it was like 2017-ish.
I don't know.
Does that
Let's
sound
see.
right?
Oh, luckily, we're on laptops right now. I'll
There you
check
go,
for
boys.
But I'm almost positive that Unfriended would have been after.
Unfriended's 2014.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So yeah, I don't. This off the top of my head, this very well could be the first of that I've
Yeah.
seen. Right. So kudos to them for getting that involved. And it's effective to an extent, but certainly not one of my favorites.
Well,
And
yeah,
then,
it's kind of like if you were gonna write like a Skype horror movie, right? Do you go with the twist that the other guy has always been close by the whole time? Is it not more horrifying to like identify with the person that is seeing something happen to their partner but can't be there, kind of
Sure,
thing?
for
Like,
sure.
you know, that's the. Anyways,
Yeah, I
sorry.
think it's a really good concept, and just kind of in terms of story, a little bit poor execution. Personally, because like I think it worked pretty well up until the point where like you kind of figure out what's going on. It's almost like anticlimactic.
So yeah, that would be number 4 for me, and then I think you go 3. 3 for me is the Halloween one, the last
Okay.
one, and then I go
Radio
2.
Silence.
Yeah, Second Honeymoon, number 1, Amateur Night.
yeah.
But if I have to drop one for time, it's definitely Glitchman.
For sure.
Yeah, and like that's the and what is that? Like, I think it's Tuesday the 17th.
Something like
Um,
that. Yeah.
That it has potential. Arguably, like some of the most potential out of
I
all the
think
shorts, but it's like
the idea of
y-
like you can only see the killer on a camera and they
it's
come up as
awesome.
a glitch. Like that's really good. Really
Yeah, for
good.
sure.
But the performances aren't great. Like the girl's like, you're gonna die up here.
Yeah, for sure. That's like the stereotypical like
Wait, what does that one guy
campy
say when he
slasher
smokes weed? Like, I'm gonna get the fear. Like,
Yeah.
what,
Yeah.
What about the fear,
yeah,
man?
what are we talking about, dude?
Yeah, that one's weird. I wish they would have had some time to build on that because essentially, and I totally forgot the character's name because she's a complete throwaway. She knows that that's going on, right? With
Yeah,
the
she
glitch
knows it's
man,
gonna
like based
happen.
off like her friends dying there last fucking summer, whatever
Yeah.
it is, right? So she brings the new group of friends over there and tries to catch the guy. But again, that's such a good concept, but that's hard to put on in a fucking 6-minute short. You know what I
I
mean?
agree. Yep.
Yeah. Nathaniel, really quick, where in your rankings would you throw in the like through line story?
Yeah,
If we count that as like its own kind of short.
that's a good point. Probably after the last one. So it would be 4 overall, I would say.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like there is the good jump scare of the guy. There's a man over there. And
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
and
in the
like-
basement.
yeah.
I just saw a dude.
just saw a guy. But I do think I like the performances where they're all just fucking like dead shits. Like they're just the worst.
for sure, breaking everything. And,
Yeah, like sexually
Yeah.
assaulting people and like openly talking
Yeah.
about it and being like, yeah, we're gonna talk to the porn guy and he's gonna give us like this and that. Like just be like,
we got to do skirts next year. Like he's
Yeah.
talking about like
Yeah.
quarterly projections.
yeah,
It's just
like just
oh.
the worst. Yeah.
he's like trying to be a career criminal.
Yeah, that's
he's like-
exactly what
he's
we
like,
said.
I'm gonna take care of it, and then all his buddies are like, "Oh, you're gonna fucking take care of it, dude? You take care of shit."
Yeah. But I love the fact that they're just like, yeah, but we're just gonna have a camera. We're gonna record us doing all these
Right.
crimes.
No, we're gonna. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so like
I thought the little really quick the
yeah.
little storyline of him trying to secretly record him having sex is hilarious.
Yeah.
And he goes, what tape did you grab? What are you recording on?
Yeah.
He goes, I don't know. I just found it in your room.
Yeah, it's
I thought that was hilarious.
that tells you that like again, Adam Wingard, he's got the goods out of those
Yeah.
guys as well too, right? Like he's
Yeah,
definitely
it's one of the better wraparounds of all the films
Mm.
I've seen. Like I said, I think I've seen 4 of this. I think now there's 7 VHSs.
And I mean, it is creepy. The whole like they break into the house. There's no furniture anywhere until they go into the
Yeah.
basement or the one room that has the old dead guy in it who's walking
Right.
around and like 8 TVs on top. Like it is freaky as well too.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. And then you also don't really get the additional backstory of like who sent them there to retrieve the tapes.
Yeah.
stuff like that, right? So there's some mystery going on. Yeah,
Or even if they got the right tape, like they never say, like, they're like, oh, you'll know it when you see it, but like there could be an even crazier tape out there, kind of thing.
Yeah, very true, very true. I'm glad Adam liked it though. This is one where I was like, ooh, this could be like
I had the same thought, man.
shitty on the Adam meter.
Yeah,
I think we all did.
Yeah. So
you forget the film grain and some of the other things that are
the
just potentially,
quality.
So I've never complained about film grain. I've never complained about film grain. All right.
Yeah, I definitely was like, oof, this is way more of the era than I thought it was.
For sure.
As well as the gore too. Like the overall level of gore, I was just like, oh, did not remember that. Although I did remember the dick rip.
Quick.
The dick rip, I also that's burned into my memory permanently.
oh yeah, for sure. Pretty much the whole first short is like, is ingrained in my memory.
Blake, Ty, where are you guys at on your rankings? Nathaniel gave his. We can just rattle them off quick.
No, I think mine are identical to Nathaniel's. We were kind of already doing this when we were watching it anyways.
Okay.
But I think we came to like a general consensus of this should just be the master list.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I'm close to it. I think I'm gonna have to go. I'm going to go Amateur Night or the first short. Then I'm gonna have to go Halloween 1998, which is the last one, Radio Silence. Then I'll go Second Honeymoon. Then I'll go The Strange Thing That Happened to Emily when she was young, and then I'll go Tuesday the 17th.
What about overarching?
The wraparound. I'd probably squeeze the wraparound after the second one, which is the Halloween 1998.
Okay. Gotcha.
Some hitters in this one, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ed.
I would agree with Blake's list. I would just flip 1 and 2. So I think my favorite's the Haunted House, then Amateur Night, and then third is the wraparound.
I think my favorite thing about the Haunted House one is the fact that they're in store-bought costumes. Like you've all seen those costumes before on the street, kind of thing. Like it does feel real in that sense overall.
Yeah, I was
like that drive where they're in the car and they're on their way to like the party. Like I've had that drive before.
That was the only bit where
for sure.
That is the bit that did pull me out of it though, because it's like set in '98, and I'm just like, that's a 2005 at least. Like, and then like they're passing other cars. I was just like, bro, that guy's got LED headlamps. But
yeah, what I was gonna say is that on the last one, I was doing some research, and Radio Silence actually also filmed an ending where they get out of the vehicle.
Oh no shit! Okay.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, so they get out of the vehicle, and then I believe the train ends up hitting the vehicle while they're not in it, per se. But I don't know why they didn't go with it, didn't do any further diving on that. But cool facts, they just leaned all the way into like, it's the house was cursed. The woman's essentially a witch, which would be your takeaway. Right.
It's evil dead.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. I like some of the effects in that last one too. So it's close. And I think you could probably go on to argue that Radio Silence ends up being the most like notable director. No, Adam Wingard did do the fucking Godzilla films.
Yeah,
so,
that
like,
boy's cashing checks.
From a commercial standpoint, yeah, right. You know what I mean? From an economic standpoint, it's definitely him.
Which that's a crazy jump from VHS to like doing Godzilla the next year.
Well, no, he didn't do
2 years later.
He didn't do Godzilla 2014.
Yeah,
he did.
I thought he did.
No,
I think he did King vs. Kong.
No,
right? Or he King of Monsters.
Right.
He did not do King of
Monsters.
Monsters. He did Godzilla vs. Kong and Godzilla X Kong are both.
Okay.
Wait, so then who does 2013 Godzilla then?
That is Gareth Edwards, our boy that did the creator.
That's right. Yeah.
But Adam Wingard did do Blair Witch, and he also did The Guest, which is my pick for one we could get on here because I fucking love Dan Stevens and I love Micah Monroe and I love Adam Wingard. He also did the Netflix Death Note, which we don't talk about.
I can do that.
So
Yeah, no, we don't do that one. We don't do that one. Did you bring up Your Next? Because he did Your Next.
I love Your Next as well too.
Your Next is awesome.
Yeah,
for
Your
sure.
Next
That's
and
probably
The
my
Guest.
favorite work by him.
Your Next and The Guest, both faves.
Yeah.
Should we get out of spoilers? Should we rank this bad boy?
Yeah,
I'm down.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So
Unless
overall,
anybody's got some closings.
yeah, overall solid film. Not my favorite VHS that I've seen.
Is your
Like I
favorite
said, I've seen
too?
4 to 7. I do like the second one. And I think the second one has the best short through and through, which we talked about that
is-
briefly.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called, but it's like they go to a cult.
Thailand
It's either
or
like in
something.
Thailand or
Yeah,
Taiwan. Yeah.
Vietnam.
And that's
Do you know who directs
the best
that short?
ooh. That's a good. You know what? Let me do the research on that. Go ahead and
I
close
wouldn't
it
be
up, Nathaniel.
surprised if it's one of our boys.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it either.
Or it could be a random, just complete rando.
A one-off.
Yeah.
Never hear from that director again.
Genuinely, like, wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So here we are on the Entropy list, which is our big list of everything we've watched on the podcast ranked. With that being said, it is time to rank VHS 2012. Boys. How are we feeling? I think so. Here's the thing.
Really quick, you guys go ahead. I have 6 minutes till I'm pulling off to fill up for gas, and I will do my ranking at that point. So
Interesting.
Okay. Then to circle back real quick, the director of the short I'm talking about, Safe Haven from VHS 2,
Yeah.
is a gentleman by the. That's actually. Wait, hang on, man. Hang on.
Okay.
Are we cooking right now?
We're hanging on.
Oh,
And we're cooking too.
it's Gareth Evans. I almost tweaked myself out.
Oh,
here.
it's Gareth Evans.
Yeah.
No.
And that's why I was like, wait a minute, did I just read this
No,
wrong?
no. Gareth Evans is crazy. Like the Raid,
Yes.
Gareth Evans.
Yes, it is, and he's done the Raid, which I've seen.
Oh no,
and he's
this
done
makes sense.
Apostle. And
Okay.
Apostle is quiet as kept, a very good like folk horror movie that was a
So-
Netflix joint in 2018 or 2017.
And also the Raid and the Raid 2 fucking
Yes.
rip as well as action joints. So this actually makes sense. Also, shout out Gareth Evans. I didn't know that was you. I was unfamiliar with your game, but I'm thankful for
Yeah, that's a
you.
hit. That's a hit for sure. So if you get a chance, listeners, and or Adam, at least make it through the first 2 VHSs. The third one's pretty much a throwaway. But
that
yeah,
Cyber?
there's some pretty good shorts in the second one as well.
Is that
Not
Cyber or
opposed.
Viral?
The third one is Viral.
Okay, so maybe it's Cyber that had Benson and Moorhead on it. But anyways, all right. So
did watch like the teaser trailer for Viral, and it looked horrible.
Yeah, there's a weird one where spoiler, but there's a weird one where they're like at a skate park and there's like skeletons. It's like zombie skeletons.
okay,
It's a cool concept, but it's just fucking horrible the way it goes about. So nonetheless, go on.
all right. So Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat's the big one, guys, and that's at 131.
Sure is.
That's at 131, and then around there you got Scream. Is that 6-5? I think that's 5. Scream 5, and
Us.
you got Us, and you got Late Night with the Devil.
Insidious.
Pearl. Scream 6 is also kicking around there as well too. So yeah. Oh man, Insidious is down there too. Evil Dead Rise. You know what? I'll go in between there. I'll go 143 between Insidious and Evil Dead Rise. That's going to be above The Notebook. It's going to be above Tenet, Straight Outta Compton. But it'll be below One Love, Top Gun, Napoleon, Independence Day. So yeah, that's where I'm going. 143 between Insidious and above Evil Dead Rise.
I will just get out of the way and also match that, because that is exactly where I was going to go as soon as I saw Insidious. I was going to go right below No Time to Die and push Black Widow down a little bit, but then I saw Insidious and I'm like, that's kind of crazy that it's that low. But
Insidious is freaky, man.
yeah, I love Insidious, man.
They did. I saw something.
Kind of buried that one as quiet as kept.
Wait, who was that? One of ours that sent the like? According to science, these are the scariest movie moments.
Yeah,
Oh
I think
yeah,
Ty sent
that's a
that.
famous.
I sent
that's a
that to you
famous
guys.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, laughing at the science bit, according to science.
Yeah.
But also the Insidious jump scare, like which we all know
So
what that
good.
jump scare is. And I remember that in theaters with my boys. And if you wanted to see a
It'll
pack
get you.
of like, adult men more scared in your entire life, the security footage of that theater would go platinum on America's Funniest Home Videos. Anyways,
For sure. But yeah, I'm right there with you.
good, glad.
Tough. I'm looking at the listing right now. I mean, where Nathaniel and Ty are at is actually a pretty solid spot. To go above is a little challenging. There's Scream 6, which is like, okay, do I like this more than Scream 6? Possibly toss up. I think my hard cap in this genre would end up being like Us and Trick or Treat.
Sure.
That's 133, 131. So then I'm bouncing back down, and you guys got a good spot. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and go 146. We can't keep slandering Tenet, fellas. We
All
can't.
right. Fair enough.
We can and we shall.
So I'm gonna put this below. I'm gonna put it below Tenet.
Okay. One win for Tenet today. It's the only one it's found in maybe like the last 2 years, but
Very true.
we got to
Very
win,
true.
baby.
Adam, or do we got to give him time? We've got to allow him to get to
I
the
think
local gas station,
That's
he
true.
might be currently pumping.
which recording this episode may be terrifying. You know, you shouldn't stop at gas stations late at night.
Y'all from around here?
Yeah, right.
Y'all got me.
Yes, we
Yeah.
do,
Yep.
sir.
I just pulled in and my phone for some reason disconnected from my AirPods, but we're back.
Oh no, that'll do it under the gas station roofs.
Yeah. Is someone else calculating the average? Because I was not taking down.
Well,
Yeah,
Okay.
Tyler and
we've
I
got-
are the same, so
Yeah.
that's an easy average.
All right, give me a second. Is this better than Trick or Treat? Maybe, honestly.
Mm.
You're wild.
You know what? Insidious being down there. Oh wow. Wait, there's some really good movies down here.
Blake, which one were you again? I'm sorry.
He's at 146. I'm already. You
146.
got. I got. we're
Correct.
good.
All right, we're cool.
Man, Insidious is tough. I really don't want to put this above Insidious.
Tiptoe.
Yeah.
Through the window,
I'm not going to tell you what to do, but that would probably be the right decision, is to not put VHS over Insidious.
I'm not. Yeah, I can't do that. I also don't want to put it above The Notebook.
Oh,
For the memes, I want to put it above Tenet, but then the ones that get me are The Blackening and Blind Spotting. Those are the two where I'm like, oof.
you are a big Blackening fan.
I thought that movie was awesome. I thought it was hilarious. I had a really good
Actually,
time.
Go ahead. Adam. I'm going to
Oh.
let you finish
I was
yours.
gonna say,
might
like,
have to
I
amend my
can't put it
ranking.
above that one either because I thought that movie was a good time.
Yeah.
So let me put it at 150 below Blind Spotting, above Ferrari. It's definitely better than Ferrari. That movie sucks.
You crazy?
Blake, are you having an addendum?
I kind of want to, because I've had the opportunity to watch Men on a second occasion.
Men.
Have you? That's interesting because we'll get to what we're watching here in a bit.
And
This is
it's not. We've kind of buried that one in the rankings. The ending of that is like seared into my eyes.
Yeah.
But I'll be a man of my word, and I'll keep it as is.
So I
I'll
think
Right,
keep
so
it as is.
where were you?
I think that was
46. 146.
145 and a half.
That's what I got as well too, according to the maths.
Yep.
So
Which
means
is
we put it,
140. 145 is Tenet.
So we put it below Tenet. Oh god damn it.
There it is.
Let me
Aren't you
add
glad
that
you
here real quick.
didn't fold, Blake?
Yeah, right.
All
Our
right.
film be
146
I
for
ordered my hot sauce an
VHS.
hour ago.
what episode are we on? Just 208.
1,476.
More than
Sheesh.
146.
We are 208. Pretty cool movie poster for this movie too, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
What is the movie poster for this thing? Or is mine on Letterboxd?
It's a skull. Yeah, it's
Oh,
got
it's
like
the,
a
it's
skull
the
and
classic
shit.
one.
Yeah. Also, Nathaniel, you didn't happen to get timestamps for when spoilers started and ended, did you?
I got spoilers. I got the rankings finished. I didn't get the switch between the two
That's
of them.
all I need. I can find it from there. That's awesome.
Cool.
What's up, listeners? It's your favorite host, Post Pod Adam, coming at you with an update on what we are watching next week because I realized that we never talked about that throughout the rest of the episode here. But of course, we will be watching the movie Paranormal Activity from 2007, the classic found footage horror movie, to continue our October month of horror here at Back Row Banter. That is currently streaming on Max, so you can check it out there, and you can check out our review next week.
With that being said, we are out of spoilers, folks, and out of our rankings. And we're into a little part of the podcast we call What We're Watching. Boys, what you been watching?
I'll kick it off with that. So I got to a handful of joints.
Oh, yeah.
Got to Terrifier 3.
Okay.
So I saw that on Friday, release weekend. And pretty good. They reeled it in a little bit from Terrifier 2, which one did you just watch?
Well,
one or two?
We'll get into it. But
all right. Okay, fair enough.
Last week I saw one.
Okay. So yeah, they reeled it in a little bit from Terrifier 2, not from the extremism, but more so just the plot. It's not a 2.5 hour slasher.
Okay, gotcha.
So they do on that, build on the lore a little bit. But yeah, it's as expected. It's dark. There's you got to go into that with an open.
If you're signing up for a Terrifier, you know what you're at this point, right?
Yeah. And it's funny going to that in theaters where you can tell there's still some people who aren't familiar with it.
Really?
So you still get the people who are going to like, hey, let's just go watch a scary movie, right? Like you get those people. And there's some scenes that happen in this pretty quick, and people are just like, oh shit. Like they didn't know that they were signing up for a film like this.
Yeah.
So that's pretty funny to see. But yeah, overall pretty good. But more importantly, what I got to is a film I've been meaning to get to for a very, very, very long time.
Oh.
And I got to Let the Right One In.
Oh, boy. So Let the Right One In is the American adaptation.
That's the Swedish one.
I'm sorry. We're talking about Let the Right One In, not Let Me In, which is the American
Let Me In. Correct.
So Let the Right One In is going to be the Swedish adaptation, I think, of a novel, if I'm not mistaken. And that, I want to say, is like, what, 2011, 2010?
08, I believe.
Okay,
08, 09.
earlier. So yeah, have you seen Let Me In?
No, I have not.
Okay,
I have not.
Which I have seen.
So, okay, have you seen Let the Right One In?
I have not. So this is an interesting meeting of the minds.
Yeah, it's one I've been wanting to get to for a while, and it's that may have just leapfrogged and became my favorite vampire flick.
So I have always heard it described as an excellent movie. I've never heard it like, is it scary?
No.
Okay.
I would say no. This is how I would word this. Is that this is almost like a drama love story that involves a vampire.
Okay, that's very much what Let Me In is as well.
Yeah.
But it is, I mean, just a great overall little movie.
Oh, awesome concept. I'm sure the book deep dives it even further as I was kind of doing some reading and whatnot after it. But yeah, awesome movie. The cast is phenomenal. The actor and the actresses who are playing the children there are great. And yeah, it's all in all, man, it's good. And it has a lot to tell about like gender fluidity and things of that nature that you wouldn't think of being in films like in the year of 2008.
Sure.
Right. So it's definitely ahead of its time for that, let alone the novels even before that. So yeah, it's one where I would highly recommend to anybody. One of my favorite vampire flicks immediately after first watch.
Have you
leapfrogged a bunch of shit. So
have you ever seen A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night?
is that a film? Is that a short?
It's
Sounds like a YouTube short.
it's a film. It's also a vampire movie, but I want to say it's like it's from the Middle East.
You'll have to send that one to me.
Oh yeah, it's good, man. I want to say it's generally available on streaming.
Okay.
But yeah, I would encourage you to check it out.
Okay. So but yeah, I would encourage anybody to watch that. What that entails is there's a child, right, who's not in the greatest setting, befriends a neighbor, and the neighbor is a vampire in a child's body.
Yep.
So they turned vampire at a young age, and you just kind of go through their relationship, their friendship. There's some like undertones of gender fluidity and sexuality. So there's a lot of things going on with the film. I would highly recommend. It's very moving. But yeah, so I got to that, and what else did I get to? Something else. Can't think. But nonetheless, that was kind of the highlights in my end. I'll pass it to let's go to Nathaniel, I guess, just because you said you got to Terrifier 2. I can probably talk to you about that.
I did get to Terrifier 2, which I liked a bunch more than Terrifier 1.
Okay.
So yeah, I think Damien Leone, Dominic, something like that.
Damien Leone.
Yeah, I think he definitely leveled up as a filmmaker in between the two of them. Art, I think, is a great. Okay, so let's the Terrifier movies. They're not scary. They're
they're just graphic as hell.
They're graphic and they're gory, and there's something like if you run into Art's path, the thing is you're going to die. That's just how it is. But the funny thing about it is that Art is going to be as annoying as possible about it. And that's funny to see from like a audience perspective. And then seeing obviously the practical effects and like it joyously reveling in those practical effects and its old school grittiness and that kind of thing is great. And David Howard Thornton, I think is the guy's name, is genuinely
who plays Art.
Yeah, is genuinely a great mime and a great performer as well too. He is funny in the role as well too.
Yeah.
And I think that really is the secret, is that he's just a funny mime.
And that's the key. You're absolutely right, Nathaniel, because what it comes down to, like, yes, the films are graphic, yes, the films are gory, but you can almost mask it with a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Where if this film didn't really have a sense of humor, I think they would really struggle to get any traction because they're just overly graphic. It would be like a Serbian film, like a Martyrs. You know, it's just too dark for you to really get on board for.
They understand that, like, they don't try to write like a deep film. They just understand that, like, you're half the reason that you're there is to see Art do his thing. But like, it's just it is what it is. And I think the first one is misogynistic, like it just is. Like, it just doesn't like women, and like it's really there to just watch people get cut up and they're women. And like, he definitely tries to like overcorrect in the second one, and I think that's why it's 2 hours and 20 minutes long.
I don't remember the opening in the second one. Is it a woman or is it a man?
No, it's him escaping the morgue. So it's a man.
Oh, yes. I'm with you. Okay. Yep.
But obviously the most famous bit in the second one is also a woman.
The bedroom scene.
Too. Yeah.
Which they, as you can tell, like, that's now common, right? So the first one, there's the lady upside down.
Yep.
Second one is the bedroom scene. The third one, there's a shower scene. So they do have one scene in each film that's like
upping the ante,
incredibly over the top.
Yeah, for sure.
Give it a shot, man. I'm glad
Yeah.
you like this first and the second.
Yeah.
The third one, they go into the lore a little bit more. Now it's they're building. They'll
Yeah.
end up being a fourth one from how
sure.
they left off the third one, right? So they're building a cinematic universe.
Well, and I think the second one was, like they said, was the most profitable film of the year technically because it was cost $250 and grossed $10 million. So.
Oh yeah, dude. So the quick facts on Terrifier 2 was that I want to say like 90% of that budget was just fan raised
Right.
at the time because there's a long time from the first one to Terrifier 2. It's like 6 years.
Yeah, it is
something.
Yeah.
And it was
2016 to
originally only
2022.
supposed to have a theatrical release for 1 weekend. Just kind of, I remember that's how it was advertised. Like, hey, Terrifier 2 in theaters like 1 weekend.
I do
We're not going
vaguely
to put a lot
remember
of
that
stock
too.
into distributing it,
Yeah.
right? And it did so good the first week, that weekend it was there. They just fucking left it in theaters for
Yeah.
another like 3 weeks. So they made a gold mine out of that, bro.
Imagine leaving your movie in theaters rather than putting it to streaming. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, right.
To that point, I heard Joker 2 is coming to streaming October 29th.
Oh man, that's tough. Quick. What was the release date on that thing?
October
It had been
4th.
October.
Yeah.
That's tough.
So yeah. Terrifier 2 was one that I watched. The other one I watched was Cruising. Has anyone heard of this movie?
No. Do not know what that is.
So this is directed by the gentleman who directed The Exorcist. It is starring Al Pacino. He is an undercover cop in New York in the 80s who is going into the gay leather BDSM bar scene in New York and trying to find a serial killer.
Is this a new movie?
No, this is from the 80s, 1980.
Oh, okay.
He is going into there to try and find a serial killer who is killing men, gay men in the 80s in the bars, and trying to find out what's going on with that. I bought this movie. I bought it basically because I love William Friedkin and was sold on the concept, and I think it's kind of a masterpiece, to be honest with you. Insane that it was ever given a full release. Insane that it stars Al Pacino. There is just like not like it's difficult to talk about because I'm trying not to be like what's the word I'm looking for? Exploitative about it, basically. But like
Sure.
it is very much reflective of the subculture that it is set in. And so there's like I don't think I've ever seen a fisting scene set to film before, but it's got one.
Sure.
Jesus.
And just like, I mean, it's shot 100% as R-rated as it can be, and like it's not X-rated, but like toes the line. And I'm just like, God damn, they don't make them like they used to, you know? Like, remember when you could have had crazy things and you could be Al Pacino, one of the biggest stars in the world, and you could just be in this movie and no one would talk about it. Yeah, so I think it's honestly a really interesting movie. Really not creepy, but definitely something that's got more going on to it than you would think from like the outset. And William Friedkin, one of the all-time great madmen of directing. And yeah, that's been what I've been watching. Tyler, what you been watching?
I really only got to one thing that's really kind of note, and Leah and I watched together. It is called No One Wants This. It's on Netflix. It's kind of like a rom-com, chick flick kind of limited series, or at least it was originally supposed to be a limited series. I believe now it's become that they are probably going to get a second season, which is fine. It was a good, quirky, funny little show. Definitely a recommend. Especially if you are watching it with a significant other, your wife, your cutie pie, you know, your other half, whatever you want to call it, whoever they are, you know, it's cute. So, you know, watch it. But yeah, that's really the only thing I'll go of note, and I know we're probably pushing time a little bit here, even though we thought we were probably gonna get a little bit quicker. But I know Adam's driving, so we'll just go right
I
to.
got so much time to kill. Can we please keep going?
Nope.
right.
I have to still pack. I have a wedding this weekend, and I have to pack for normal wedding stuff and normal stuff, and then golf stuff. So I got a little bit to do. So
I'll see you.
but yeah, that's all I'll keep it to. I honestly, everything else I've been watching has been kind of my fall rotation kind of shows, so nothing too crazy. You guys know I'm quite the homebody in general, and I'm also quite the homebody in making sure I get to watch my comfort shows, especially when it comes around to seasonal stuff. So so yeah, that's all I got. Adam, what'd you watch?
Yeah, I got to a good one over the weekend. I watched Annihilation for the first time.
Ah.
First time?
The first time. So I've now watched. I mean, I don't know if Alex Garland has anything between Ex Mach or before Ex Machina, but I've now watched all of Alex Garland from Ex Machina to Civil War. Annihilation was really good, man.
Yeah,
I really liked it. It's still probably 3 of 4.
Okay.
Probably above Men.
So what do you got? You got Civil War, Ex Machina, Annihilation, Men.
Yep. Yeah, I would go probably that order. And that's not a knock on Men. Like as Blake was saying, like I still think that's a good movie. But I think the other 3 are just better. But dude, yeah, Annihilation was kind of a trip. Didn't really know what to expect going in, other than like I've seen his other movies, so it's probably not what I'm expecting, or at least gonna be a pretty intense watch. And you know, I think I had a good time with it. I still need to get some kind of explained video up to like kind of go over everything, so I'm kind of clear, because like I feel like I followed for the most part. It wasn't that anything was too confusing, but it's also pretty abstract. And so I'm wondering what I would gain from like an explained video, to kind of just walk me through things a little bit more. But you know, I still feel like I captured it for the most part, and definitely would want to rewatch, to kind of get more of a grasp on things and see how, cause there's a lot of setup and payoff, and I kind of want to see that setup more to see if it would make things clearer for me. But I think I definitely got a good grasp of it on the first watch. But yeah, I had a good time with it. Where do you guys rank that in those 4? Like, where's that for you guys? Have all 3 of you guys seen it?
I
would think so. Yeah.
Yes.
I would think
Okay.
so. I struggle. I think Ex Machina is my peak for Garland. I would probably go Ex Machina, Annihilation, Civil War, kind of interchangeable. The sound design on Civil War is just fucking phenomenal.
It's awesome, dude.
And then Men last. But I do think that being said, Annihilation does have one of the best scares of the past, I would say about 6 or 7 years. That's not effectively like a jump scare, quote unquote. And do you know what scene I'm talking about now, Adam?
I think so. Is it? I don't want to spoil. I'll just say, is it the bear?
It's the bear.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. 100%.
That seems
100%.
phenomenal.
I don't want to spoil too much, but just yeah, that seems incredible top to bottom.
Yeah.
Well, again, I don't want to spoil too much, but I'll just say like the design of the bear itself all around is also pretty cool. If you want to talk about like just sound design in general, but then also using sound for the effect. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. It was really, really good.
For sure.
And you're right. And it's so scary without being scary. You know what I mean? Like it's not, it's just it's like very like, oh shit, kind of like, that's not like, that can't be what I think it is. Like, yeah, very, very good on that. And Tessa Thompson, that's Tessa Thompson, right? I'm getting her name right.
That is, yeah.
Yeah. I was not expecting her to show up, but that was a pleasant surprise. I really like her, and then obviously anything Oscar Isaacson's great.
It is.
Yes.
Is that who it is? Okay.
And she's great. She's always great.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely enjoyed Annihilation. Um, glad I finally got around to that one. But haven't watched much besides that. I have started the Starting Five NBA documentary series on
Ooh,
Netflix.
I heard that was good.
That's the other thing I watched. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's good so far.
I did
Go
not
ahead,
watch
go ahead,
that,
Nathaniel.
but I watched the Mr. McMahon documentary series on Netflix.
Oh, I heard that's good as well.
It is. It is. Makes wrestling seem crazy. Sorry, continue.
No, you're good. But yeah, the I'm only on like the third episode of that show, and my main takeaway is that LeBron is cornier than I thought he was. Um, he like you think he's corny, and then you see him in the show, and you're like, God, this dude like literally can't stop just like playing to the camera. Like it's kind of it's.
I mean, he's been doing
know.
it since he was 17,
Oh,
right?
I know.
Yeah, the
I
guy's
know.
been
Like-
famous since he was 12.
Yeah,
I
like
get it. I get it.
he doesn't have any idea what he is without a camera in his face. Like, how could he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
Different life.
Oh, for sure. But it's good. It's got one of my favorite players in the NBA, Domantas Sabonis, featured there, and then Anthony Edwards,
Spud
of course.
Webb.
Those are, yep. It's got Spud Webb. But yeah, so it's good so far. I will probably finish that out. And the NBA season's right around the corner,
It is.
so we're ramping
is.
up here. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much all I watched. Been watching some sports, but also other than that, I've been very busy, so haven't gotten to do too much. But as the weather cools off here in the next few months, I'm hopefully gonna hunker down and get to some more movies and stuff. So yeah,
Fair, man.
That's it for me. That's it for me.
Then really quick, then I want to bounce back to the film that I forgot that I watched. I had to go log into Letterboxd really quick. Is I saw the TV Glow, where I want to say I started it last week. Then I ended up finishing it
I
with,
heard that's
with
good.
Haley. Yeah, that movie's good, man. PG-13 horror movie has a lot to say about sexuality, and where you and how sexuality is a spectrum and being yourself. And yeah, that's Jane Schoenbrunn, I believe is how you pronounce that. Don't know any of the other work that she's done. But yeah, what a great film. Very deep. Big message for people. That's one that I could see people watching that in their teenage years and it being one of their favorite films. Absolutely.
Her other movie, We All Go to the World's Fair, is I believe also on Max.
Oh, okay.
And she is
Is that good?
I have not seen it, but I've heard good things. And she is a openly trans director as well too.
Okay. I can kind of pick up something like that from watching I Saw the TV Glow. So
yeah, but she's active on Twitter. She seems pretty cool and got a good taste in movies.
Okay. I will give what you say is that we're all going to see the World's Fair.
Yep,
that's
the one. Yep.
I will.
Pretty sure that's on
list.
Max. And I think that might even be like kind of like what we were talking about. I'm pretty sure that's like a webcam film. Like,
oh, okay. Fair enough.
yeah.
Full circle.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. That's it then.
Alrighty, folks. Well, we'll go ahead and end it there for the week. If you want to follow us, we're at Back Row Banter and Back Row Banter Pod on the socials. Figure out finding us. I'm not making it easy for you. You can always follow us though.
It's in the show notes.
It's in the show
Twitter
notes.
at Banter Row, Instagram Back Row Banter Pod, and YouTube is just Back Row Banter.
That's right. Follow us on YouTube a lot. Like, click like and like a lot. And tell your family about us. Tell anyone you want about us. But, if you got like a group of guys that are running crimes for you and maybe have access to a bunch of other dudes in the crew, maybe tell them about us. Maybe if, you want to get us out there, curse a videotape, just make sure it's got watermarked Back Row Banter on there as well, too. Do your thing. And with that being said, Tyler, take us home.
You can find me on Instagram, Letterboxd, and X, all at Tyler Vidalis, VIDALES. Adam.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at H24 and on Letterboxd at H. That's AYYSH. Thank you guys for bearing with me with Back Row on the go here. And this was kind of our only way to get all four of us on the pod this week, but this is actually a good way to kill time on a long drive. So I hope my audio quality didn't bother anybody too much. So
I'll pick it up from there. PSN, Xbox, Mr. Water Coolers. Add me on there. Still playing some MK. May break down and purchase Silent Hill 2 remake.
Ooh.
We'll see. Just because I'm in a big
Heard good
big
things.
spooky vibes right now.
Heard good
Watch some
things.
gameplay. It does look good. Very eerie. They've nailed the setting. They've nailed the fog and the smog that goes along with it. So we'll see. I'm in a big spooky vibe right now. And that's all I got. We'll go to Nathaniel.
And you can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at NSGangrick. You can find me on Instagram, NathanielG92. Sandpiper Tapes is my other podcast, folks. You be excellent to each other, and we'll BRB.
America. Ready for another lesson.
I guess I should pull up the blank show notes page just so I have a little format to come off of here. Or do we just want to do it loose? We've done it enough times. We can do it loose, right?
I mean,
Right?
I can point us in the right direction, but I probably won't lead the thing.
All right, yeah, no, we'll be fine. This is just it's
We'll just let it rip.
it's like when
It's,
we're yeah.
it's VHS after all. Are we really?
That's
we're-
right. I mean,
we're really-
really. Oh yeah, hold on.
pressed
Really.
about the format.
Hold on. We need what we need is an anchor story line here, something to connect each bit together, you know. So
Right.
like you want me to I need my Sandpiper tape soundboard. I can make it sound like we just uploaded a cassette. Kind of thing.
Yeah, that would have been a hit. That would have been a hit this episode for sure.